With a revolutionary government in control in many parts of the country, reprisals begin against those who are thought to have collaborated with the French and Japanese. Ngo Yen Xuan Fong, who will later become a senior diplomat, describes what happened to his family.
Of course, they imprisoned all the landowners. Anyone who had any kind of function under French rule. My grandfather was jailed because he was a village chief. Luckily, my uncle was at school with the Viet Minh leader and went to see him. He said, "Why did you put my father in jail? He is harmless. He hasn't done anything cruel." So he was released after a few days.
Fong's grandfather is one of the lucky ones. Many are killed as the Viet Minh deals ruthlessly with those they call collaborators. Vietnamese fights Vietnamese for the first time. Independence is fleeting. Within months, with British and American support, French forces return and take control in the south as the Viet Minh are disarmed. In the north, Ho Chi Minh's forces are unable to prevent lawlessness by the Chinese Nationalist Army. He has little choice but to ask the French to return to restore order. Once again, Indochina is ruled from Paris. Although the Americans are sympathetic to the cause of Vietnamese nationalism, the post-war ideological chasm between the democracies of the West and the communism of the Soviet Union dooms Ho Chi Minh's revolutionary government to failure. The Viet Minh melt away into the countryside, and the situation rapidly deteriorates into what will be called the First Indochina War. General Giap.
On one side, the professional army of an old imperial power, armed with all kinds of modern weapons, aircrafts, warships, artillery, machine guns. On our side, we have just ordinary people, armed with simple weapons, but who are determined to fight to the bitter end to defend their country.
Although Giap's tactics gradually erode French control in the countryside, its weapons still possess frightening power. Ngo Van Chu, a Viet Minh officer at the Battle of Vinh Nhen, January 17th, 1951.
Our division has been under attack ever since this morning. We are forming a group of 10 elite battalions who should be able to take Vinh Yên before tomorrow. Then I hear a sound in the sky. Strange birds appear, getting bigger and bigger. Aeroplanes. I order my men to take cover from the machine guns and bombs, but the planes dive without firing. Then hell opens up before my eyes. Large egg-shaped canisters drop from the planes, and immense sheets of flame, extending for hundreds of meters, strike terror in the ranks of my soldiers. This is napalm, the fire that falls from the skies.
By 1951, 100,000 Vietnamese are fighting with French forces against the Viet Minh. March 1953, Saigon. Marshal of France Alphonse Juin and Commander of French forces in Indochina, Raoul Salan, greet US General Mark Clark, United Nations Supreme Commander in the Far East. Also present is Chief of Staff of the Vietnamese Army, Nguyen Van Hinh. General Giap.
The French are now falling in with the Americans and using their money and equipment to establish national armies. And so, France is beginning to turn over Indochina to the United States.
The United States is funding 80% of the French war effort. The Viet Minh's resources are coming directly from the Soviet Union and Mao Zedong's new communist regime in China. The Indochina War is no longer a minor skirmish between a European empire and its reluctant colonial subjects. It is becoming a global battleground. In May 1953, the French replaced General Salan with General Henri Eugène Navarre. He immediately makes a momentous decision to create a major defensive position in the northwest of Vietnam, close to the Laos border. He chooses a small settlement on the strategic route between China, Laos and Vietnam, occupied by the Thai tribesmen, who are still loyal to the French. It is called Dien Bien Phu. Navarre orders the airlift of a large force from the Gia Lam Air Base in Hanoi and Gap Ba in Haiphong. Viet Minh officer Ngo Van Chu watches as the French forces land.
We knew they were the best they had. Paratroopers, legionnaires. The battle would be hard. I realized that Dien Bien Phu would make or break us.
US-supplied B-26 bombers drop napalm on enemy positions. The French garrison below is outnumbered 4-1 by a Viet Minh army 50,000 strong, which completely encircles it. General Giap, late November 1953.